with a prayer followed by a pledge of allegiance. Father God, you know why we are here. You know the hearts of all men and women. Remind us today of the urgency of being prepared to serve our fellow human beings in time of need. Help us as helping agents always to be available to the collective as well as the individual needs of others in time of emergency and when people are in stressful and hurting situations. Give us an understanding of the reason why we exist and serve. We affirm today, O Lord, that a better community and a better Randolph County and a better America begins with us. Bless now this gathering, and may God bless Randolph County and God bless America. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, thank you. So we have the meeting called to order for agenda business, and first we have public comment.
Bob Jones.
Bob Jones.
Hi, how are you all doing? I have two Freedom of Information Acts that I'm going to turn into you all. The first one deals with the Unsafe Building and Land Enforcement Agency. Wondering if that committee has changed any. If it hasn't, who is the engineer for that, the certified licensed engineer? Also, with the asbestos abatement, who checks your properties for that? And whenever a building is demolished, how do you all go about taking care of that asbestos? And the other one deals with just wanting to know the exact total of the bill for the new 911 center. So I'll hand those in. Also, on your all's website, there still is not a place for a Freedom of Information request. That probably needs to put on there. That's one that I used from the city, just to let you know. So I hope it's accepted.
All right, Bob.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Have anyone else share some public comment?
That's it, sir.
Okay. No more public comment. We move on to the minutes, and we have two sets of minutes. Which ones are-
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from our regular session meeting of April the 7th as presented.
Okay, motion the board approve the minutes as submitted from the regular Randolph County Commission meeting, which was held April 7th of 2022. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes from our special session meeting on the 19th of April as submitted.
We got a motion for the board to approve the minutes as submitted from the special meeting held on April 19th, 2022. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Moving on, next to reports. Sheriff, do you have any reports?
No, sir.
No reports. Robert, do you have any reports from the 911 center?
Nothing right now.
Mayor?
Nothing to
Nothing
report.
from Mayor? Phyllis?
I do have a brief report.
Okay. Floor is yours.
The Randolph County Assessor's Office will be taking mandatory training next week, Monday, April the 25th through Friday, April the 29th. Our new computer system is in, and we are getting trained on that, provided by the State Tax Department. So this training is mandatory, and it is online, so it will be necessary for us to close our office certain days. We will be closed to the public on Monday, April the 25th. We will close to the public on Thursday, April the 28th at 1 p.m. And we will be closed to the public Friday, April the 29th, all day. The other days, our front office will be open, but there'll be minimum amount of employees there. So anybody that comes in may have to wait a little bit, but we tried to keep it open as much as we could. But there are some days that everybody has to be in training. So, and then we'll go back to our regular schedule, Monday through Friday, the following Monday, so.
Okay.
But next week is gonna be a little bit of an unusual schedule for us. So if you get any calls, that's why.
Okay. Thank you. Who else we got for reports? Brenda, you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to give a little election announcement.
Okay, sure.
Tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the courthouse lobby, we'll be doing a public test of the new voting equipment. This is something we do before every election. We do a public test to show everybody how the machines work, and if anybody that wants to come can come. It'll be the county commission and the ballot commissioners and myself will be there doing it. Then, election night, we're gonna be back in the courtroom. We won't have to do it outside this time, like we have.
That's good.
We'll be back in the courtroom as normal, so I'm happy about that. Early voting will be starting this coming up Wednesday, April 27th, and it'll end on Saturday, May 7th. It'll be held in 2 locations. The one location is the Weiss Annex, which is right down here where the health department building is. The other location is the Russell Memorial Public Library in Mill Creek. The times that early voting is open is Monday through Friday. During the weekdays, we're open from 8 to 4:30. 2 Saturdays, Saturday, April 30th from 9 to 5, and Saturday, May 7th from 9 to 5. So, anybody that wants to do early voting will be up and running next Wednesday. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Mayor, I know you're here for agenda business. Do you have any?
Just happy to be here.
Okay. Robbie, Moore, do you have any? Okay. So move on to correspondence. Do we have any? Nothing? No correspondence? Next is announcements. Do you have any announcements? Next meeting date?
May the 5th.
Next meeting date will be, for the commission, will be May the 5th, 1:30. Moving on, items for discussion and action. Item A, and that's informational presentation and funding request from Legion Baseball. We do have someone here.
Thank you all for your time. I'm Phil Wilson. I'm the president of Elkins Baseball Association and the manager for our local American Legion Post 29 baseball. And we are requesting funds for our upcoming season. Did you guys get a copy?
Yeah.
One of the things we do have, our senior legion, we got teams from Parkersburg, Wheeling, Maryland, Moundsville, Charleston, everybody coming up for weekend games and staying nights and all that. One of the things we're really excited about, for the first time, we're starting a junior legion baseball team to keep a lot more of our kids playing baseball throughout the summer. One of the things we're excited about with that is I was awarded the bid to host the West Virginia State Legion Tournament here in Elkins. There'll be anywhere from 8 to 12 teams coming in for 3 to 4 days for that state tournament. So we're gonna have a great deal of teams, especially the month of July. We've got about the whole month of July games here in Elkins, between Elkins High School and then Robin Harvey Field. So we're just requesting funds for our season and appreciate your consideration in this matter.
Have you talked to the city?
I talked to them last year.
You gonna talk to them this year?
I'd like to.
The mayor's right here.
We just gave more in the bleachers than you did. What bleachers right now?
Always give him a jazz.
Yeah.
But, in all seriousness though, by bringing those teams into the area, they stay at hotels and they eat out. So I mean, it's a good thing for Elkins and for Randolph County as a whole. So.
Yeah, last year we had Moundsville. They came in they actually had a game in Bridgeport, and I talked them into staying here. So even after the weekend of playing us, they stayed here a Sunday night and then went to Bridgeport on Monday. So I'm trying to encourage a lot of our team, to stay here as much as they can. But
Well, if the city doesn't give you anything, just encourage them to stay in the hotels outside the city limits, so that we get the tax dollars.
We can bring a certain food truck in for them if you want.
I'm sure you would do that.
I'll see you soon.
Phil, how much are you asking for?
we're requesting $9,000
$9,000.
for the season for both. That's for both teams, and because of course we got to do a good bit of traveling too to bring those teams here.
You got to buy uniforms and stuff for the junior teams as well?
Yeah, well, I've been fundraising since the season ended last
Okay.
year, and I've got most of the uniforms covered and all that. It's just between baseballs and umpires, it's with 2 teams is going to be you know, last year, for instance, it was only a half a year, and it took me over 11,000 to get through the season last year, and that was, we only had a half a season because of high school baseball being pushed back due to the COVID, all the COVID stuff where things got crazy, but, so, I mean, it's very expensive, and
So all that funding's for, equipment, umpires, traveling, things
Yeah.
like that, right?
yeah, a little bit of everything, yeah, exactly, and I'm still doing, you know, we're trying to do other fundraising, we're trying, you know, I wanna make a really elite, I mean, Morgantown, Wheeling, some of these places, they have a really, really good program, and I'm really trying to give it my all to build us a summer baseball program that the kids can really look forward to and is really nice, you know. Eventually, we can maybe even get batting jackets and really make it nice for the kids. You know, travel ball is so expensive, and that's one of the things that I started last year when I took over. We have no player fees. We don't want to ask parents, you know, travel ball is $2,000 to $3,000 for each kid, plus travel and motels. We want to be able for the kids to be able to play ball no matter what financial situation may be. So we are not doing any player fees. Most Legion teams do a player fee. We just feel that, you know, kids should be able to come play baseball and not have to pay to play. We want to give them an opportunity to come and play without having to pay an astronomical amount per kid.
Regardless of what the parents.
Regardless.
If they're able to play.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, we just want to keep as many kids on the field as possible. And I'm getting a lot of response, you know, on the Junior Legion, and if it all works out, there's a possibility we could have 2 Junior Legion teams. I don't know if I can handle it, but, you know, we'll give it a whirl.
You got like 30-some kids, didn't you?
Yeah, well, all in told, right now I have 58 kids between Senior and Junior Legion that are interested in coming out to play. So, you know, interested and then actually signing up, you know, is 2 different things, but there is a lot of interest, the Junior Legion, and we're working, you know, I'm working with Babe Ruth, so that I don't interfere with their season, so the kids can play Babe Ruth, and then literally the very next day, as soon as Babe Ruth is over, the Junior Legion will start, and we'll keep the kids playing the rest of the summer. Like I say, we're hosting the Junior Legion team. We've got, with the Junior Legion too, I've got Wheeling coming in, Morgantown coming in, a couple of teams from Charleston coming in, so like I say, between the Junior and the Senior Legion teams, we got teams from all over the state coming in all summer long. So, which I think is great. We're trying to, like I say, we're trying to promote and we're really trying to build an elite program here in Elkins for the kids.
Sounds good. I'll make a motion to accept the funding request from the Legion Baseball in the amount of $9,000 to be taken out from the hotel motel tax.
A motion for to accept the funding request from Legion Baseball in the amount of $9,000, which will be taken from the hotel motel tax. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank
You
you.
have the address in there, we need to.
It's on the bottom.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you all very much.
All right, Phil,
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Okay, item B is next, informational presentation from David at Elkins College. We have Chris Wood, and I think Scott Stoddard's here.
Good afternoon,
About 2
Commissioners.
minutes.
Good afternoon, Commissioners of Randolph County. Ms. Heinzman, if we can have your assistance here, there is an actual presentation to go, an AV to go along with the presentation for me. We ready? All right, very good. Again, it's an honor and a pleasure to be before the Commissioners of Randolph County. This is a follow-up to my presentation from a few weeks ago. Commissioner Seiler attended a recent City Council meeting where the President of Davis and Elkins College, Chris Wood, presented to Council. And he recommended that the Commissioners hear President Wood's presentation. So that is why we are here today. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the 15th President of Davis and Elkins College, Chris Wood.
Thank you very much, Scott. Good afternoon, Commissioners, and thank you very much for this opportunity. It's greatly appreciated. For 118 years, Elkins, Randolph County, and Davis and Elkins College have been inextricably linked. I want to share with you today a bit of information about Davis and Elkins College, and I want to begin with a snapshot of D&E in 2022. And I start with some enrollment demographics. Somebody mentioned to me recently that they said a few decades ago it would not be unusual to hear people say that Davis and Elkins was primarily affluent out-of-state students. A few decades ago there would be some truth to that comment. However, that is no longer the case. Today at D&E, more than 50% of our students are West Virginia residents. Our percentage of students from West Virginia actually exceeds the percentage at West Virginia University. And 16% of our students are from Randolph County. This is indeed the home college for Randolph County and for the surrounding area. And as far as all being affluent, it may be of interest to you to find out that 48% of our students are Pell eligible. Pell being the federal grant available for families of low income. Again, we are compatible with state institutions in that demographic as well. 37% of our students come to us from 35 states beyond West Virginia, across the U.S., and 13% of our students are international, that actually come from 32 countries and 6 continents. I always tell our admissions people, if we could get a penguin, we'd have all 7 covered. 35 states across this country and 32 countries across this world are sending students to Randolph County, West Virginia, because of Davis and Elkins College. If we could advance the slide, I can't see it, so I'm hoping we're on the right place. This has to do with academics. I do want to share with you just a quick snapshot of academics at D&E. We are consistently ranked high among the ranking agencies, the national ranking agency, probably U.S. News and World Report, one of the best known, and we are climbing in national rankings. We were reaccredited by our accrediting agency, the Higher Learning Commission, in 2021. That's a 10-year accreditation to the institution. We have 32 majors and 42 minors that are offered at the college. Most recently, a new minor coming in natural resource management and forestry tech, working with the Mon Forest, and an undergraduate track in special education in order to address that need within our community. And just 2 weeks ago, we approved a new major in cybersecurity that is coming as well. I hope we're in the correct place. If you'll advance for me, please. I want to talk just a little bit about cost at D&E. Ran into someone the other day on the street and they said to me, I wish that my grandchild could have attended Davis and Elkins, but we could never afford it. To which I responded, I wish you'd given us a try. D&E is affordable. If you go to Scotty's and you look down at your placemat, it's going to say to you, you can afford D&E. Last year, we gave $5.4 million in scholarships to West Virginia students, the majority of which came from Randolph County and the contiguous counties around it. And we gave $15 million in aid to our student body. A West Virginia student will pay a compatible price to attend a private institution, Davis and Elkins, that they would pay to attend a state institution in this state, in spite of the fact that the state institutions get up to 40% of their funding from the state. We get none of that. We manage to stretch those dollars, use efficiency, and make the cost just the same for our West Virginia students. We could advance again. I want to say that we have spent more than $12 million in the past 5 years on our physical plant, in construction and in renovation and in deferred maintenance. And a lot of that work, among that 12 million, has gone to contractors right here within this region. We approved a new campus master plan in 2019, the old one approved in 1970. Time for a bit of an update. And we have now completed phase 1 of that campus master plan, which was a $7 million addition to the Miles Center for the Arts. I believe Commissioner Kessling had a chance to see that at the Chamber of Commerce dinner this past week, a beautiful new addition to the Miles Center. Our next phase in the campus master plan will be extensive renovations of our residence halls and construction of a new residence hall. We are in the midst of a feasibility study right now for a $25 million capital campaign. And I would add, a lot of the funds of that capital campaign will come to us from alumni and friends that are outside of Randolph County and of West Virginia, that will be money flowing in that will be spent here. Once again, if we could move the slide, I want to say a word about the financial position of the college. Back in December, you might have noticed that there was a private institution in the Parkersburg area that closed their doors permanently. And there are numerous private institutions across this country that are significantly struggling and probably will be closing their doors in the coming years. I'm pleased to report to you that your college is healthy, that we are indeed, as a result of our $100 million campaign we completed in 2018, we are debt-free as an institution, and we are financially viable as an institution. That is something that we're very proud of. I don't want to confuse that, however, with, as I often say to our faculty and staff, our Swiss accounts overflowing. The college is lean, it is mean, our budgets are very tight, and we live within our means. We simply don't spend more money than we have, which is probably a good lesson for all of us on our home budgets as well. These are unprecedented times for higher education, and particularly for private higher education. And for us, the importance of philanthropy cannot be overstated. It is tuition dollars and philanthropy that keeps Davis and Elkins College healthy and moving forward. And in spite of the fact that we have been in Randolph County for 118 years, I would hope that none of us will take for granted a future for Davis and Elkins. It's going to take good management, strategic planning, and indeed healthy financial support to keep this college open and to keep this college continuing to grow for this community. I've said many times to our faculty and our staff, if you think about D&E as a little boat in the water, the current is coming stronger and stronger against us, the headwinds are getting stronger and stronger, and the only way that we're going to manage to move the boat forward is for all of us to get our oars into the water and to begin to row together. And that's exactly what's happened at D&E, and that's why, quite frankly, we are bucking national trends. I hear sometimes folks in Elkins and in Randolph County talking to me about the college on the hill. I understand that, geographically it is correct, but I don't like I don't like to think about the college being separated in that way. I would much rather think about Davis and Elkins being a college that is integrated and intimate to our community. If you'll advance that slide, I want to talk about some of the important ways in which the college is able to support this community. And I begin with economics, simply beginning with our payroll of over $7 million, a lot of those funds flowing here locally, and $3.5 million just this past year in vendor payments, again, most of which went locally. The college offers 225 full-time, good-paying jobs for Randolph County and provides immense human capital to this community, from our faculty and our staff and their spouses to our students. And whenever you talk about a college, you have to talk about cultural opportunities. For a small town like Elkins and a relatively small rural community like Randolph, the cultural opportunities here are immense as a result of the college. We also bring NCAA Division II athletics to this region, 23 teams. And if you're not yet, please come out and support the Senators. And I would add, finally, we bring diversity to this county. We're very pleased and very proud of the fact that we bring people of color and ethnic and minority diversity, as well as international students into this community. Pre-pandemic, I was thrilled when our international students were in the classrooms in Randolph County, talking to students about their culture that they came from, sharing and understanding so that we all learn to live a bit better in our world. When I came to Randolph County in 2016, I started saying at that point to the business community, for purely selfish reasons, I want Elkins and Randolph County to be the strongest that we can possibly be. And that's because it's good for Davis and Elkins College. And by the way, the stronger Davis and Elkins College is, the better for the business community of Elkins and Randolph County. We have a mutually beneficial relationship. We are committed to community partnerships, and I begin with the Miles Center. Commissioner Kessling can tell you about it. It's a beautiful addition to our community. And it is our community that is going to benefit from Senate Commons and the Miles Plaza. We have the premier event space now, not only in Randolph County, but in our entire region, where we will come as a community to gather, where banquets of more than 400 can be held. It's the spot now for wedding receptions and proms and graduations and all the other events that are part of a community. And we combine that with Harper McNeely Auditorium and our 1,100 seat auditorium that's available for the community as well. We have an emphasis at D&E on immersive learning and internships, wanting our students to be involved in the businesses and the nonprofits of Randolph County. We have a recent partnership you may have seen announced with Davis Health Systems, where we are providing the nurses that are so necessary for the health care of our region. We have a partnership with the Randolph County Board of Education, an athletic partnership for the sharing of joint facilities, as well as providing dual enrollment to our high school students that are looking to get college credit. D&E is the home of the Augusta Heritage Center, bringing the arts alive for the past 40 years in Randolph County. And we are about to add a new program in cycling as we pick up on all of the energy that's coming around this recreational economy and bring folks from across the country and around the world to enjoy the mecca of cycling that is this section of West Virginia. And I finally end with community service that we as an institution are completely committed to serve this community. We were very pleased after the COVID pandemic and shutting the campus down for nearly 2 years to reopen the campus to the community recently. And we're also very pleased and excited that the Mountain State Forest Festival will be resuming on our campus beginning this coming fall. If you'll advance that, and I hope we have a picture of an amphitheater, do I? Okay, good, thank you. I do want to share with you, speaking of the Forest Festival, that we do have a funding request before you, and this is what the funding request is all about. I would add, I think we submitted 2 projects. At this point, we want to put all of our resources and all of our eggs in one basket. We want this project to move, so I would ask that you consider it in the entirety of the request. This is a renovated amphitheater to be on the campus of the college, and I do want to make clear to you, gentlemen, that this particular amphitheater is not for the support of Davis and Elkins College. It is the request, the funding request you have before you is not for the operations of Davis and Elkins College. It is not for the capital needs of Davis and Elkins College and our students. Frankly, the college is responsible for that, and we recognize that. What you have before you is a proposed amphitheater for the community of Randolph County and its surrounding area, especially to serve us during the Forest Festival, 4th of July, other times when the community comes and when they gather. It's always been my privilege in my 6 years at D&E to participate, I shouldn't say 6 years, it's actually been 4 years, my privilege to participate with the Forest Festival, and looking forward to doing it again this coming year. Back in 2019, before the pandemic hit, I think we had a missing politician. I actually had the privilege of crowning Maid Sylvia to become Queen Sylvia on Coronation Hill at D&E. I always look forward to that, but I have to be frank with you. I must be honest. I am a bit embarrassed, quite frankly, as we participate in that ceremony because of the quality of that amphitheater and what is occurring at that place. Our existing facility has been an embarrassment to both the college and I think to the community. That amphitheater is disintegrating. There is no more patching that can be done with it, and at some point in the near future, it is going to become unusable. Our 80-plus year tradition of Coronation Hill and coronating our queen for the Forest Festival, we cannot imagine anywhere else, but that is a reality that we may need to face. The proposed structure that you see here is not extravagant, it is elegant and it is practical, and I think, quite frankly, it will represent our community well. Our latest estimate on this project is about $300,000. We immediately had a local corporate sponsor that stepped up and is providing more than 50% of that funding. The City of Elkins, thank you, Mayor, recently agreed to provide just under $50,000 in ARPA funding that has come to us as well. We've had additional community partners step forward, and we're in conversation with a builder that will hopefully be doing work at cost. We are getting close to the finish line. My request to you today is that we combine all of our requests to you and bring a $50,000 request that will get us very close to the finish line on this project. And again, we look forward to building this, not for D&E, but building this for the good of Randolph County and our community. For 118 years, Randolph County and Davis and Elkins College have been inextricably linked. And God willing, we will continue to be so for generations to come. I thank you and would be more than happy to take any questions you may have.
Got anything?
No, I thank you, Mr. Wood, President Wood. I appreciate you coming in today. Now, you'll be completely demolishing the old one. It's not really a renovation, this is a complete rebuild, is it not?
It's demolishing itself, yes.
Yeah.
Same spot though for the new.
Just
building.
finishing what Mother Nature's already started?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take any questions?
I don't know that.
I thank you for your time.
Very
I'm glad
good.
you came in.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, what do we have next? Informational presentation from Ernest George regarding David Mack's contract. I think we're going to table that item.
Yeah, I make a motion we table item.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to table item C. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we move on to item D, and that's consider approval of funding request for Dry Fork Community Center. I believe we have Rex Vance is here to speak to it.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak and bring my request to you all. I think you received a letter from us that was written on January the 12th, making a request for a much needed building our recreation center. And it is the Dry Fork Recreation Center. And maybe just, I'm the president. I'd like to make through just a little bit of history. We started in 1997, and we had to do a lot of things to get up out of the flood zone. Had the National Guard and different contractors that come in that brought us up out of the flood zone. Then our first project was we built a baseball field, a garage, concession stand, basketball court, a walking track. Most recently, we did a little anchor, like a stage, to we have some gospel sings and different things that take place there. So we have done that. But we are requesting monies from the American Rescue Plan for a building. We've always been wanting to build a building. The building that has a community building, has a wellness and fitness center, also a disaster and relief center because we have had our share of disasters in the Harmon area. And it's hard sometimes to get people housed, and also for people that came in to work to have some place to go. But it'll be open for a disaster relief. It'll be a much needed gymnasium for the kids. It's getting so hard anymore that to get to high school, to have activities out of school time, like during the summer and whatnot. So, but we have so far raised over $100,000 for this building. The project's going to cost us roughly more than $350,000 to build the building that we want. It's going to be a 90 by 100 or by 120 building. And we appreciate your concern on this, and hope and pray that you can find in your heart to help us out there. So if anyone have any questions or thoughts or comments on this,
How long do you think it would take to complete the project if you got your funding right away?
we've got two two companies that have give us quotes on the building, you know, and we're just waiting on, cause you gotta pay so much down to get them to start it, you know, so we're just, waiting on, making sure we get the right building for what we want, you know, and, we've, like I said, people in the community have been very good at doing fundraisers and raising money, because, you know, we're small, but we serve a lot of people, you know, people from different counties come in there to use the facility, so, we are, asking for, help with this building, so.
I think it's great for that community to already raise $100,000, and it'd be a great asset for that part of the county.
Thank you. The people have been working hard at that. You know, we, of course, like I said, every year we tried to do something. And for the past couple of years, we hadn't done anything because we had a dream and a hope that we'd get enough money eventually to build a building, you know. So, that's where we're at.
Well, I think I'll make a motion to approve the funding request in the amount of $250,000 to be taken from our ARP funding in support of the building for the Dry-Fork community.
I've got a motion for approve the funding request in the amount of $250,000 taken from the American Rescue Plan Fund for the Dry-Fork Community Recreation Center. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you very much. God
No,
bless you.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I know most of you up there on the commission, but I've known Chris for years. I just met Mr. Zeiler. I didn't know that, but I'd worked with his dad back when I was 9th grade in high school. I worked with Charlie and a man by the name of Irvin Poe, whether you remember him or not. We was taking fallout shelter supplies over at the old Shepherd Elkins Armstrong or Limestone and moving him from one tunnel to the other, and his dad was helping. So,
Rex, thank you.
thank you very much.
Yeah, Rex. Appreciate everything you do. All right, moving on to item E, let's consider approval of annexation request from the city of Elkins. I know we have quite a few people who wants to step up and speak to the mayor. We've got Robbie Morris even here, Jerry Roberts.
Somebody
Step up. There you go. Mr. Speaker.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here today. The City of Elkins is requesting, per the Randolph County Development Authority's request, to annex the part of the property that was the former Oddfellows property that was purchased by auction in October of 2021 for the expansion of the industrial park. The property that we purchased was a little over 74 acres, of which about 60 of those will eventually be developable once we have all of our wetlands and stream delineation and roads and everything laid out, which we are in the process of doing right now. Approximately 2/3 of the property is currently in the city. About 1/3 of it is outside of the city. And when you have an industrial park, there will be covenants to the industrial park, and it will make it a lot easier for the development authority to have a developed, planned park, all under the same rules, regulations, guidelines, and so forth. And being part of it being in, part of it being outside, we feel it's in the best interests, as do our legal counsel and our engineers all feel that bringing the remainder of this property into the city would make the most sense, not only for us as we develop it, but also businesses that will eventually call that park home. So appreciate your consideration of the request, and if you have any questions, be happy to answer those.
So your board approved this request? I mean, it was brought up. And
Yes. The board of directors for the RCDA authorized me to submit the petition to the city of Elkins for request for the property to be into the city. We are the only owners of the property. It's just the property, and those meets and bounds and a survey of that property was submitted with our petition to the city as to which property would be in, and we are the only owner of that property.
And what did the city do then?
We had held 2 meetings, 2 public meetings, so we addressed it at 2 separate meetings. Everybody in council was fully approved that and supportive of it, so for economic development perspective, we think it makes sense for us, as Robbie said, to have everything under one zone. So
Now it comes to us for final approval.
Correct.
You got any businesses planning to go in there yet?
So we have one that has expressed interest, but we have not started marketing the property yet. We have to develop a new entrance into the property, and I don't want to start saying, hey, you interested in coming in, and they ask, okay, well, what's available? And you have to say, well, nothing at the moment, but it will be, and so forth. So there's a lot of work, which we knew, it's been agriculture field, since its existence, and so we knew there was going to have to be some infrastructure and development put in there, but we're working as quickly as possible on that. E.L. Robinson is our engineering firm on that, and there's a lot of moving pieces to it, but we are trying to get it to the point of having the master plan laid out so that we have lots laid out and can begin marketing those. But there's already been one company that said, hey, when you know where your lots are and what you have for sale, please let us know. Also, the West Virginia Department of Economic Development is very interested in the park, and they want the information as quickly as possible once we have the master plan developed so that they can market it on our behalf as well.
Okay.
We are also pursuing funding from some
city?
various state and federal sources. City as well, yes. Any and all to help in the development costs. And the main reason that we are doing that, and of course the commission has already committed funding to this park, but the more we are able to have the infrastructure and so forth developed with grant funding and so forth, makes the cost per acre less. We do have a loan on the property right now, but it makes that break-even cost less so that it's more incentivizable to bring in and enticing for companies to come in and move to the park. So.
I believe we got a copy of the maps and everything also, so.
And commissioners, our water and sewer departments have been working with them as well for the plan, the master plan, to provide the infrastructure going forward, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the annexation request from the city of Elkins as presented.
Okay. Got a motion for to approve the annexation request from the city of Elkins as presented. And any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
No going back down.
It's all yours.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, moving on next, item F, and that's a consider approval of promotion from DRC assistant to DRC officer. We have Aaron here to speak to this, I believe.
My board met last Thursday, and I had brought to them a request we had just, in the last commission meeting, we had approved to hire my 2 vacant positions, which was Brian Asbury and Rena Smith. So I had brought in front of our board last week and requested that I would like for Brian Asbury's position to actually be a DRC officer instead of assistant. And with that discussion, the board approved for us to, for me to go, approve for them, for that change. So I'm bringing it to the commission to approve, starting as of Monday, this past Monday, for his position to go from an assistant to an officer. So then I would have 3 officers, and the funding of that will come out of Community Corrections Fund, which is the 072 account. And that would be just as the same as what Raina is at currently, which was, $12.02 an hour. And then he would still be on the current 90-day probationary period. It would just continue.
Yeah, that one first. So this is for Brian.
This is for Brian.
Can I make a motion that we approve the, request from Aaron on the matter of Ryan Asbury to be a full-time position DRC officer in community corrections. The change was, started April the 14th. Request start date is, 18th, at the wage of $12.02 an hour with full benefits. 9-day probationary period will stay the same from his original start date.
I've got a motion on the floor to approve the move of Brian Ashbury to a full-time DRC officer from North Central Community Corrections. Approve changes in position, starting date, April 18th, 2022, with a wage of $12.02 per hour with full benefits, and will remain on 9-day probationary period. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And what we have next, we have consider approval of raises for community correction employees beginning July 1st, 2022.
So I also brought in front of my board, my concern that in the last few years of me changing, staff multiple times, that I made the request of, changing the beginning salaries of the officers' positions, because I had come to the point where people would call and be interested in the positions when I had positions available, and then the conversation ended with the amount that we were offering at that time. So the board had approved the request, from my request. The board approved the starting as of July 1st, that the DRC officers' positions, which like my current ones are Kimberly Collins, Raina Smith, and Brian Asbury, to be at the amount of $30,000 with their full benefits, which that comes to $14.42 an hour. This funding will come from whatever grant the governor awards us with your cash match, whatever that amount be based on based on the grant, and then the remaining would be covered from the 072 account of community corrections funds. And I will let you know, I brought it up, and this is so you're aware, we had submitted a bunch of the drug screen invoices for DHHR, and we hadn't received any checks, but I received one today, finally, and so everything's good in that, so we'll just, it's not for the whole amount for those months, but it's starting to come in, so so we're good on that. And I don't know if you want to do it, and then I was not present during this time when they had this. I had made my request in regards to my officers, and then I had stepped out, and then they finished the meeting, but I don't know if you want to talk about the rest of it.
Yeah, then, cause that's on the board, then the next thing was Erin's pay, and she hasn't received a pay raise in several years, so, the board voted to approve a pay raise, to take her to $60,000 with full benefits starting July the 1st when the other, pay raises would go into effect.
And again, like I said, that all will come out of, the first initial will be whatever the grant will be, and then the cash match will, usually I make, one of the officers the cash match, and then the remaining, whatever isn't covered between grant and cash match, will come out of 072 funds, which is the community corrections funds.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve, the North Central Community Corrections Board, what they approved on the 14th, which was to move the DRC officers Kim Collins, Raina Smith, and Brian Asbury as of July the 1st, when the new fiscal year starts, to their pay to the amount of $30,000, which is roughly $14.42 with full county benefits. And then also to increase Erin's salary to $60,000 with full county benefits, again starting July the 1st, a new fiscal year. All funding will come from the grant, and then the cash match that we give them. The rest are the remaining fund needed for this, we taken from their account of 072.
That's the motion.
That's the motion.
So I'm just gonna say, we got a motion for to approve the raises for community corrections employees beginning July 1st, 2022. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Thank you guys very, very much.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item H, that's consider approval of tire funding request from E911 Center. We have Robert Phillips here to speak to it.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
How are you today?
All right. I apologize for Sean and Rob. They've been out of town this week in training, so you get to deal with me.
So you're the boss.
I'm here. The Communication Center, we've been having a lot of issues with radio communications in different parts of the county. It's been very poor. It's putting our officers and our first responders in jeopardy. The radio traffic's not what it should be. We was approved before for a tower site at the comm center, which they're saying 75 to an 80-foot tower would increase our output to reach out like in the Pickens area, the Valley Head area, Huttonsville, Mill Creek. It's pretty much a dead zone from the Burnt Bridge up the valley. I gave Brooke a copy of the invoice.
We have it.
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah, okay. What we're asking was assistance with funding for a tower, to be an 80-foot tower, to be erected at the comm center, Airport Road, in the amount of $120,843.59. That's the estimate for it. That price has went up in the last 3 months. I was telling you, it's went up a good bit.
It was 95.
Yeah, it was 90. And they're saying another 2-3 months, it'll be more. The window for the tower site through the airport, it's getting close in the window now to have it done. But like I said, the radio communications, it's horrible.
Where's that tower going?
At the 911 center on Airport Road, right beside the building.
Is it gonna be an issue with the airport with FFA?
No, we have an approval for it.
Okay, gonna get the
Yes.
approval.
Yeah.
And this is more like a repeater tower, right, to help hit the other towers?
Yeah, it's gonna be the microwave link. Well, what we have now is the microwave, but it's on top of the comm center, which the trees are taller than what
Yeah.
microwave links are. So the 80-foot will put it up over the tree line, straight shot to Rich Mountain.
Well, I know there's nothing worse than yelling on the radio for help and nobody hearing you.
Yeah, and that's the situation. It's somebody's going to end up getting hurt, and we're not gonna know it.
In there.
I mean, in the Pickens area, in the Valley Head area, even at the Huttonsville Exxon, officers or fire department, anybody can yell and you can't hear them.
Do you have anything to say on the sheriff?
It's from, like he said, from the Burnt Bridge up. So you just have to throw a rock sometimes, because you can't talk to each other. You can't talk to each other with an eyesight sometimes. It's a dead zone because of Green Bank. I understand they're trying to get some shields off of the Green Bank, over our antennas that shield us toward Green Bank. That would help some, but what he's asking for is gonna give us a straight shot up the valley and toward the Pickens area.
Yeah.
It would be a benefit for sure.
I'll make a motion to approve the funding request for a tower at the 911 center in the amount of $120,843.59 to be taken from the American Rescue Plan Fund.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the funding request for tower at 911 center in the amount of $120,843.59, which we take from American Rescue Fund Plan Fund. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Now, does the city benefit from this?
Well, I was gonna say, Mr. Mayor, the Elkin City Police does run off of our tower.
Make sure that makes the paper that the city refused to help out the county on
You can
this.
at least give us the 59 cents on that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, next we have item I, and that's first reading for increased county 911 fee.
And we're requesting to increase the fees of the 911 for residential and commercial telephones. These funds hasn't been raised in 20 years. It was supposed to have been 10 years. It's been 20 years since any kind of a raise on it. Residential, as of right now, it's $2.50. It's 4,221 residential landlines. Commercials, 3,480 at $2.50. What we're proposing is to raise it 50 cents on residential and to $6.50 for the commercial lines, which, as it stands right now, a total of $231,000 is what we're getting off of it right now. With the increase, it would be an additional revenue of almost $200,000. That would help with upkeep, financing, all the running of the comm center, additional pay to have some extra dispatchers on when times are tough with only a couple. And that's what we're proposing, to raise it 50 cents for residential and to $6.50 for commercial.
And when she talked to us about this, didn't she go around to other counties and see what they were doing, their price wise, and that's how we come up with some of the numbers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That, so it's competitive with other counties?
Yes.
What they're doing. And it's been over 20 years since we raised it?
Yep.
Sal, you got anything on this?
I just think it's much needed. Order to keep the center running efficiently, and that's something we need to do.
Upkeep's not cheap. Everything's going up.
So this is just our first reading. We'd have to do a second reading at the next
Yes, sir.
commission meeting.
Okay.
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the first reading of the 911 fees increase as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the first reading of 911 fees increased as presented. Meeting getting too long. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You're only about halfway there, so hang on.
All downhill now.
I'm in trouble. All right, next is item JF, consider approval request for use of the courthouse lawn and parking lot of them for the Mountain State Sports Festival. Do we have a paper?
Yeah, and this is something we do every year when,
Oh, yeah.
well, since they've had the festival, and then they, because of COVID, but, I wanna make a motion that we approve the request from Mountain State Forest Festival for the use of the courthouse lawn. They put their tent up out front here, and then the parking lot in the back for the week of the festival.
Motion, we got a motion on the floor to approve the request for the use of the courthouse lawn and the parking lot during the Mountain State Forest Festival. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, next item K, and that's, consider approval of request for use of the Weiss Annex sidewalk during the Mountain State Forest Festival.
Again, something that's done every year, and actually this year, they got a brand new sidewalk.
No, they do.
It's nice and expanded and
Never thought of it.
secure and safe, all paid for by the county.
As it
So-
should have been.
Well, you need to talk to some other people in this town then, because some of these sidewalks are pretty bad. But, don't put that in the paper. I make a motion that we approve the request from the Delphia Rehoboth, the IOOF Lodge, for the use of the sidewalk in front of the Weiss Annex during the Grand Feature Parade.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the request from the IOOF Lodge 62 for the use of sidewalk in front of the Weiss Annex during the Grand Feature Parade.
That's international organization, fellas. Just for the record.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, next is item L, let's consider approval of ABCA zoning letter for Hampton Inn.
So we've been requested from the general manager of the Hampton Inn, requesting a letter for the county commission stating that the Hampton Inn in Elkins is located outside the city limits. And because they need that to submit with their application for retail license to the ABC commission. So I'll make a motion that we approve the ABCA zoning letter for the Hampton Inn as presented. We have it already filled out from Brenda.
Okay, good.
Stating just that Randolph County has no zoning regulations for property outside the city municipalities.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the ABCA zoning letter for the Hampton Inn after dinner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So next, we're moving on to consider recommendation from fiduciary commissioner on the estate of David Michael Payne Senior. Brenda, you have all the
Yeah,
papers for
I
that?
brought this over earlier for you to look at. I don't know if you've had a chance to read your copy of it or not.
I've glanced at it, but that's about it.
But it's just an estate that was referred to Jennifer Morgan. There was a conflict between the heirs, so she held a hearing, and this is her recommendation of what needs to be done. It's just regarding some personal belongings like guns and a safe and things like that that were in the estate. So this is just her recommendation of what needs to be done with those items. And one of the heirs has contacted me and they're not happy with what she recommends.
Okay.
But as she has right on the bottom of it, if you're not happy, you can appeal it to circuit court. So that's what I advised the heir, that
Okay.
if they're not happy with her ruling, they could do that.
So if we approve,
So,
if we
yeah.
approve a recommendation, then carry on to.
Yeah, take it on to
RB,
circuit court if they're
yes.
not, if she's
Okay.
not happy.
Anybody wanna make a motion? to
Yeah.
approve
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of the fiduciary commissioner as presented.
it? Okay, got a motion for approve the recommendation of the fiduciary commissioner as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, next, consider payment of November invoice for RCHA.
It was just that we're a pass-through for this, for the grant. So I wanna make a motion that we approve payment of the invoice to the Housing Authority in the amount of $9,861.34 to be taken from Fund 160 as part of the CDBG grant that we're the pass-through for.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the payment of the invoice to the Housing Authority in the amount of $9,861.34 to be taken from Fund 160 as part of the CDBG grant that we are a pass-through agent for. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. And next we have item O, let's consider approval of quote from Castro Technical.
I think Commissioner Seiler will speak to this.
This is for the installation of ceiling heaters in the gun evidence room for the sheriff's department. Which is basically a necessity to keep them having damage.
Like a dehumidifier, keeps them maybe the
Yeah,
same.
well, it's the temperature controls and environmental control to keep damage from coming to weapons and stuff that were either seized or recovered. Will you be putting any of your own, holding any of your own weapons in there?
It's generally evidence lockers, so probably not.
It's just for the evidence
That's
locker,
the way
right?
I understand it.
Okay, so that'll,
Is this for your department or is it for the,
Task force,
I believe it's for that, well, I'd have to look at it.
what's it say on the thing? Does it say task force?
It's the task force.
It's a task.
I think it's for the task force over to,
It's right over here, yeah.
911
That's,
building.
I'm pretty sure.
okay, that's
We seize a lot of weapons, they do when they're doing what they do.
for doing their drug seizures and stuff, okay. Yeah, it's a necessity to keep these items that are seized, to keep from being damaged, to keep us from being liable for, damaged weapons if they end up, something happens, that they get returned back to the owners, or if they're seized from, come to find out they're stolen, we recover them and then find out who they're going to later on. So I'll make a motion to approve the quote from Casto Technology in the amount of $2,558.57, to be taken from the, from other buildings maintenance.
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor to approve the quote from Casco Technology in the amount of $2,558.57, which will be taken from other buildings maintenance. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next item T, and that's consider approval of final payment to Wolf Creek Contracting for sidewalk project.
Yeah, this is a sidewalk project that we did around our courthouse complex. And it's not the final payments because there's still some trees to be planted and,
Some sidewalk to be finished.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we still owe some money on it, so I'll make a motion to approve. The first one is the January invoice for Wolf Creek Contracting, which was $70,351.62 to be taken from courthouse facilities improvement.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, approve the January invoice for Wolf Creek Contracting, amount of $70,351.62 to be taken from courthouse facilities improvement. Did you make a motion for the other one also, or you just wanna do one at a time?
We'll do one at a time.
Okay. So any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Okay, that was for the January invoice, so now I'll make a motion for the March invoice in the amount of $3,082.16 to be taken from courthouse facilities improvement.
So, motion for to approve the March invoice from Wolf Creek Contracting, in the amount of $3,082.16 to be taken from courthouse facilities improvement. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Moving on to item Q. We have, consider application of commission president's signature on the letter of support for Norton Harding Jimtown PSD.
All right, so we're you'll be signing a letter of support, and a letter of support for the Norton Harding Jimtown PSD states that I write to you today in support of Norton Harding Jimtown Public Service District's proposed water treatment plant replacement project and a submission for a congressional earmark request. I cannot understate the importance of providing reliable portable water infrastructure to residents of Randolph County. The Norton Harding Jimtown PSD is proactively working towards improving their water infrastructure and replacing the aging water treatment plant. Could increase the security of the PSD's ability to provide water to its residents. This project could directly support the sustainability of water service for the PSD's customer service area, and I'm proud to fully support their efforts. Sincerely, Christopher C. President. So I make a motion that we approve that ratify your signature on that letter of support.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve ratification of the commissioner's president's signature on the letter of support for Norton Harding Jimtown PSD, which doesn't cost us anything, just a signature.
This time.
This time. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next item R, consider approval of local government election and release form regarding opioid litigation.
Sure, you all have heard or aware that Patrick Morrissey's reached an agreement with, I think it was Johnson & Johnson, $99 million settlement for the opioid with that company. And now it's to the commission of each county in the state to approve and sign this release form, giving him the authority to finalize everything. So I make a motion that we approve the letter of the release form as it is submitted, to be signed and dated and submitted back to him.
Commissioners, man.
Sure.
This is actually the second one that they settled. The first one was for 26 million, this one's for 99. There's two more to settle after this.
Well, good.
Are we part of that MOU with that West Virginia First organization that I asked Brooke, she's checking into it, I think. But I think you have to be signed on to that MOU to be able to receive funding.
Correct.
I'm not sure, Rob, but I think we are. I think we
Yeah.
were. I'm
We
pretty
probably
sure.
ought to at least check, because that funding's gonna come out.
Because we've
If we're not
already,
part of that, we don't
we've
get it.
signed an MOU. It was one of the agenda items.
West Virginia First.
It was one here recently,
Last meeting, wasn't it?
or the meeting before last, we signed an MOU.
Okay.
I think this
Yeah, it
is,
was
this has
just
been
the
several
opioid.
years ago, I think what you're talking about probably, is that?
No, I did something
More recent.
Yeah,
More
more
recent,
recent
maybe
now,
that's when
so
we done then.
we need to, follow up on that one probably.
Yeah.
A lot of money coming. before part of
For
it.
this one was I think it's 120,000 for this one.
Okay, so we got a motion for to approve the commission president's signature on the West Virginia local government election and release form. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next, what we have, item S, and that's consider approval of contract for litter control grant project. And that's one of Peggy's.
Yes, one of her projects.
Yes, for trash pickup for the litter control grant. I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Which clear, it just states that, they'd be entered into by us and the Tigers Valley Sanitation. What they'll be doing is, they'll be collecting the trash from the trash cans that she received a grant a couple years ago for the trash cans that's throughout the county. And now she's got a grant to, help with the maintaining those. So she's, now, we're going into an agreement with them to maintain those. And the total cost of the contract is $4,800. There'll be 10 trash cans, about roughly 16 weeks of pickup collections. And, so it's 160 collections at $30 a collection, which is $4,800.
Yeah, I think before the people just volunteered and taking their time and picking up the random, I mean, just every now and then, but this will be on a regular schedule, so it should help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to go to slowing down Christmas spring.
Yeah, I know, one for spring, that was one. Okay, so we got a motion on the floor to approve the contract for the litter control grant as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next we have consider approval of insurance proposal for West Virginia Corp for fiscal year 2022, 2023.
This is our annual liability and workers' comp insurance renewal proposal. It's just slightly lower than it was last year. The amount this year is roughly $177,215. It's a budgeted item that we've taken into consideration, and so I make a motion that we approve the insurance proposal from the West Virginia Corp in the amount of $177,215.
Okay, I got a motion for approve the insurance proposal from West Virginia Corp in the amount of $177,215, which is a budget item, and like I said, I believe the premium just went down a little bit from last year, which is great.
I think we budgeted up to
200, I think. Savings, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. What are we doing now? Moving on to final settlements and annual counting. See you, Aaron.
We only have eight settlements.
Told these guys they wanna come in, you guys should have want the X.
Huh?
Should have want the X on the agenda this week.
Actually, he did pretty
Yeah,
good.
isn't that bad? Especially with the
I thought for sure it's gonna be
presentation.
over 2 hours. We're not done yet. Come on, Chris.
Well, you were talking.
Well, hurry. If it was you, I'd talk over you. Come on, let's go.
I know you would. I'll make a motion to approve the eight final settlements and annual counts as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the 8 final settlements as submitted. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Budget revisions, how many we got?
We got 3 budget revisions. One's an in-house budget revision for the sheriff. Decreasing his contract service, $817, and increasing his training and canine handler training by $817. So I make a motion that we approve the in-house budget revision for the sheriff.
Got a motion?
As submitted.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the in-house budget revision for the sheriff in the amount of $817.
$817.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
All right, next one is a state budget revision. This is where, we're receiving, payments for liens against properties, distressed properties. Just amounts of, increasing that distressed property line by $350. So I make a motion to approve the state budget revision.
A motion on the floor to approve the state budget revision in the amount of $350. Mr. Keesling?
Aye.
Mr. Seiler?
Aye.
Mr. C? Aye. Motion carries.
Next one is another state budget revision. Was this for the sidewalks? All right, so this is we front it first and then we get it back in the grant. So this is a transfer of funds, $165,000, decreasing the transfer to the fund line to the courthouse facility improvement, $150,000, and courthouse bonds, comp, and UCC, the insurance line, $15,000. So It's a state budget revision, $165,000. I make a motion we approve it.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the state budget revision in the amount of $165,000. Commissioner Keeson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tyler?
Aye.
Commissioner C, aye, motion carried. Next, we have divisions of property, erroneous assessments. What we got?
We got 5, division of property awareness assessments. I'll make a motion to approve the 5, division of property awareness assessments as presented.
Got a motion on the floor to approve the 5 divisions of property and erroneous assessments as submitted. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Water sign.
Distressed property. We have no distressed
No
property.
distressed property,
17 fire fee adjustments.
17 fire.
I make a motion we approve the 17 fire fee adjustments as submitted.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the 17 fire fee adjustments as submitted. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Pay the bills.
Payment of bills.